you know, this is really a more conventional therapy situation where we're talking, and I'm sitting here typically, and you guys are on the couch. And then when we do any kind of enactment, I use the other end of the office and have you come over there. And when you're there, you're free to explore what it's like to not necessarily be yourself. Sometimes I'll be actually assigning you a character to play that's not you. At other times, I'll simply ask you to do something which is perhaps different or unusual, and to see what that's like. This does two things. It gives me information about how you interact with each other, and it also gives you a sense of what it's like to interact with each other in a way that might be different from what you're used to.
Been a little more than a year now since two of the biggest superstars in Hollywood, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, got married.
NBC's Tom Brokaw recently caught up with them. Tom, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be back. We got together with the newlyweds at the iconic Sunset Tower Hotel in Los Angeles, not too far from their home. I talked to them about their new marriage, how they have rewritten the celebrity guidebook on managing fame, and how life's obstacles, especially for Angelina, have brought them closer together.
Okay, I'll go first. Let me say, we don't really need to be here. See, we've been married 5 years.
6.
5, 6 years. And this is like a checkup for us. Chance to poke around the engine, maybe change the oil, replace a seal or two.
Very well then, let's pop the hood. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you as a couple?
8.
Wait. 10 being perfectly happy and 1 being totally miserable, or?
Just respond instinctively.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
8.
How often do you have sex?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I'm lost. Is this a 1 to 10 thing?
But because, like, is 1 very little or is 1 nothing? Because, you know, technically speaking, the 0 would be nothing.
How about this week?
Including the weekend?
Sure. Describe how you first met.
It was in Colombia.
Bogota. 5 years ago.
6.
Right, 5 or 6 years ago.
Been a little more than a year now since two of the biggest superstars in Hollywood, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, got married. NBC's Tom Brokaw recently caught up with them. Tom, good morning. Good to see you. Good morning. Good to be back. We got together with the newlyweds at the iconic Sunset Tower Hotel in Los Angeles, not too far from their home. I talked to them about their new marriage, how they have rewritten the celebrity guidebook on managing fame, and how life's obstacles, especially for Angelina, have brought them closer together.
So now you're a married couple. You know, it's certified. And Angie told me that shortly after you got married, she thought maybe she should be a more conventional wife and mother, and thought about cooking.
This is what I said about cooking.
No.
He looks at me because he's like, every 3 months I'll say, honey, I think I should learn how to cook. Don't I?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's, yeah.
Yeah, I just humor it, but really, she has no business in the kitchen.
I never really liked to cook. It's not your gift.
Baby, I've never cooked a day in my life.
We were joking at one point, we were saying, like, oh, this is going to be compared to, see, this is the beginning, and then this is 10 years later. This is what, this is what 10 years of marriage will do to you. This is what 10 years of marriage will do to you.
I don't want to give away too much about the film By the Sea, but I think a lot of your fans and other moviegoers are going to be a little surprised by some things. Here you have one of the most secure marriages in Hollywood, and this is about the two of you in a deeply troubled marriage. Was this a big risk on your part?
Well, I think, one, I'm counting on the audience to know that if it was close to us at all, we could never make this film. It's because we're actually very, very stable, and these aren't our issues.
I'm blowing you a kiss.
I'm blowing you one back.
the personal therapist of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, just revealed all the nasty secrets of the couple, which could have probably led to the shocking divorce. As disclosed by the therapist, which is reported by Celebrity Dirty Laundry, both Brad and Angelina tried to save the marriage before the split, through engaging in some therapy sessions.
As you know, Hollywood is not my natural arena, but the fact is I'm very taken with these two because of their honesty. They didn't try to, in some way, to engage me in a way that would improve on their careers. And they were going from here, by the way, back to his hometown of Springfield, Missouri, where he has a compound on a lake. They're going to spend the week with his aunts and
However,
uncles and
those
cousins
means
and
have
other
been
people,
useless,
and then
as the
retreat to
sessions
their very
only
private
made
lives,
matter worse
except
between
when they
them.
have something important to say. So,
Further, sources close to the therapist divulged that Brad and Angie were into no-sex marriage.
Mirrors is easy to explain and undemanding to perform. The first rehearsals for growth enactment introduced to a couple should be relatively easy, so they will have a success experience with enactment.
Hollywood might not be your thing, but people are your strong suit, and it was a great interview. It really was.
thank you. Well, I do admire their honesty.
The couple had been engaged in several spats and fighting already, even in front of their children. And with this, their love life was compromised as they seemingly stopped having sex.
Their honesty, quite honestly.
So there was never a plan to, we should make this movie. It's just, I became a filmmaker, and one day I thought, what story do I feel is really important to tell?
Well, good to see Brad out and about. He made his first public appearance since Angie filed for divorce.
Exclusive interview with Angelina Jolie. As Michael said, she is in Cambodia for the world premiere of her new film about the genocide in that country. She calls it a thank you to the country of Cambodia. Of course, that's where her oldest son, Maddox, was born. And we spoke earlier this morning about the movie, her family, and how they're coping after Jolie's very public divorce from Brad Pitt.
This was not your typical premiere. Only photographers and fans were invited. There was not the usual lineup of reporters asking questions. Streamed live on Facebook, the cast was only interviewed by event host Dave Carter.
I think we all agreed that this was a different kind of red carpet event.
And you call it the story of war through the eyes of a child. Why was it so important for you to tell this story?
This country means a great deal to me. This country's been through so much, and 40 years ago, this war affected every single individual here. It's an honor to be allowed to come into a country that is not your own country and to tell its history.
You mentioned your son Maddox. Of course, you adopted him from Cambodia back in 2002, and he was a real partner for you on this film, wasn't he?
He was. I talked to Maddox about this film and about doing it, and it was him in the final hour who said that he was ready and that he wanted to understand more and he wanted to work on it, and he wanted me to make it.
How did they feel about eating scorpions?
They're used to eating scorpions, well, especially Shiloh. But no, I'm learning to cook them better. A little more flair, a little more seasonings.
You filed for divorce last September, as you said, for the health of the family. Is your family healthier now?
We are focusing on the health of our family.
Last night, I'm sure he's under a lot of pressure, and he was Grace under pressure again.
And so we will be stronger when we come out of this, because that's what we're determined to do as a family.
Two more just like that. Big inhale, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, gliding the shoulder blades down the back body. I just had deja vu, that's so weird.
I, John, take you, Jane, my lovely wedded wife, to hand.
Do you think that in many ways you've come full circle? You know, your humanitarian work started here, you became a mother here, that perhaps this is some sort of crossroads for you?
I hope that this practice guides you to move through any anxiety or fear about the future, regrets about the past.
Yeah, yeah. I'll always be very grateful to this country.
Thank you so much for being here today, for showing up.
And I hope I've given back as much as it's given me. I don't think I ever could give back as much as this country's given me.
You wrote a New York Times op-ed piece a few weeks ago, and you spoke about having a truly international family. You said that the refugee policy should be about fact, not fear. You also said that we shouldn't be departing from our values. Can you tell me what you meant by that?
It's funny, isn't it? Some questions seem so obvious, don't they? You know, it's these things we talk about, and we hear them spoken about often now. You know, what are our values?
The palms, step the right toes back, followed by the left. We come into a strong plank pose. Say the mantra quietly to yourself, I am strong, as you rock front to back. Try to lift the hips, so if they're hanging low here, you need to find that length from the crown to the tail.
If not now, more than ever, we really have to rise up and find our rational center, our who are we and what do we stand for, and we know it. We know what's right and wrong.
If I take it back to your film is about family and loss. I understand this is a very sensitive issue. We know that an incident occurred which led to your separation.
You might even say quietly to yourself, I am present. The mantra for today is no fear practice.
We also know you haven't said anything about this, but would you like to say something?
We'll make a commitment here to ourselves, and why not to each other here, everyone practicing this sequence together.
Only that I don't want to say very much about that, except to say it was a very difficult time, and we are a family, and we will always be a family, and we will get through this time and hopefully be a stronger family for it.
But can I ask how you're coping?
I'm many people find themselves in this situation, and these kind of, you know, my family, we've all been through a difficult time.
And please, please, I invite you to breathe deep. Use your breath to move the energy that's stuck in your system, in the body, in those nadis, those energy meridians. Move it with the breath.
And it's not, my focus is my children, our children, and it is, and my focus is finding this way through. And as I said, we are and forever will be a family. And so that is how I'm coping. I'm coping with finding a way through to make sure that this somehow makes us stronger and closer. Everything I do, I hope, is that I represent something, and I represent the right things to my children and give them the right sense of what they're capable of, and the world as it should be seen, not through the prism of Hollywood.
Trust me, trust yourself, trust the video.
In, say, 5 years' time, where would you like to see yourself? Where do you think you'll be?
5 years' time.
No fear, just doing things maybe our bodies don't normally do on an everyday basis, and then reaching fingertips back, and then lots of flexibility in the feet required here, so maybe make adjustments if you need to. Just coming right back to sit on your bum, sending the legs out long. Yay! Great work. So really fancy, oh hey bumblebee, really fancy posture here. Go ahead and center yourself on the mat. We're just going to lean back on our hands, and then just pretend like you are a sweet child. Maybe you are a child practicing this. Welcome. We love you. We're so glad to have yogis of all ages here. So just shake the legs a little. Pretend like you're watching your favorite show. Life is good. Windshield wiper the legs. If you like anatomy, you might close your eyes and imagine what's going on in your hip socket here. Just gentle. Maybe look at your feet. See your sweet feet. Imagine your feet as an innocent child. I know this all sounds silly, but it's just so helpful to get out of the seriousness of the things that we cannot control. How many times have we just like looked back on something and gone, oh, I wish I hadn't have been a jealous, raging, you know what, or I wish I had have just realized that everything would work out, or etc. All right, after a little bit of silly shaking left to right, go ahead and find